I do. We're going to talk about The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. And yeah, here's the thing. When I was a kid and I saw this movie, I probably was, I'm going to guess 9 or 10 years old when I saw it the first time. I could have been a little younger, possibly. And to me, it looked like this, it is to me still this way. It's a spectacle. It's a visual spectacle. And I really like the soundtrack too quite a bit. I think the storyline isn't the greatest, and there's some ridiculous things in it, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But when I was a kid, I saw this as colorful and beautiful, and the cinematography is so incredibly awesome that it's part of what formed my opinions on all future movies. A lot of my movies tastes are always like really colorful, and the cinematography is always extremely like a painting, you know. And this movie to me has that. And I think this movie, because it has that, it really did influence every single thing I ever liked after that in the future. But I've recently rewatched it. I rewatched the theatrical cut. It's 117 minutes long. That's too long. It's too long. It's drawn out. It's still beautiful. The soundtrack is still incredible. I like certain aspects about it. For example, it influenced me to want to be a psychologist. It influenced me to want to help children. It influenced me to want to be a philanthropist and a person who, you know, helps others. It really did. That and Ginny in Friday the 13th really influenced that. But the whole pendulum swinging and the light flash, ridiculous. That's ridiculous. As a kid, it was really easy for me to believe that because, you know, you're a kid, you believe everything. But now that I'm an adult, that was just ridiculous. And I wish that they could go back and like redo it and maybe do it more like, you know, The Cell did it, you know, with J-Lo, where they have that looked realistic to me. It seemed way more real, but this was ridiculous. Richard Burton is way over the top. But I also think that made it kind of enjoyable for me when I was a kid. It's not so much now as an adult. I'm not thrilled with his over the top performance, but I really do still, I'm always going to love this movie with all my heart. I like the fact that James Earl Jones is in it, and he plays, you know, the Kukumo, and he's always good in everything he does. I never ever, you know, say, oh, he did a crappy job, because he never does a crappy job. He always does a really good job. And I like the idea of the good locust. I like that idea that somebody can have an effect on others. She's obviously a healer. She heals that little girl. I think that's how come she's able to be possessed by Pazuzu in the first place, is because she has something special about her already. And that's how he was able to use her power, get inside her. Same with Kukumo. He turns into a doctor because he was the village healer. So I don't know. I just think I think it's a good movie. I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth giving another look. You know, don't watch the long version though. I say go for the shorter one if you can. But do get this Blu-ray if you're going to watch it at all. It's John Borman's film of Exorcist 2, The Heretic. It's the collector's edition, and it's got a lot of really good stuff on it. I have not seen the special features yet. I wanted to watch them, but I ended up running out of time this week, so I didn't get to do that. But in a symbolic gesture of how I'm feeling about this movie right now.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
I'm going to
rip the slip, baby.
This is the symbolic gesture of how I feel about this movie today, as opposed to how I did as a child. I'm going to keep the movie, but I'm going to get rid of the you know, the extra junk that went along with it.
I think I just heard Pazuzu wail You know what we should do? We should do a live commentary for Exorcist 2, and every time there's a Pazuzu reference, we take a shot. We'll be dead in 15 minutes.
Oh my god, I really want to do that. I'm serious. That would be great.
We'll be dead. We'll be dead. We'll be dead. We won't
I'll
make
be
it.
drunk.
I think what you heard was the voices of 1,000 nerds crying out in terror.
I used to be one of those nerds. I still am, sort of.
So,
But
Jamie, let me
I
ask
do
you
like
something,
it.
Jamie. Let me ask you
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
So why do you think so many people don't like Exorcist 2, in your opinion?
Okay. I actually think that a lot of the people that say they don't like it probably haven't even seen it. Or if they have, they probably already had the preconceived notion about it before going in and watching it. I think that if people, that's okay, Lauren, you don't have to like it.
No. Go ahead.
I think that a lot of times when it comes to reviewing things and critiquing things, you get a lot of people out there who want to say stuff negative just because they've heard other people say stuff negative about it. I'm not sure that people really hate it as much as they say they do, because even upon watching it again and seeing flaws in it, I still think it's a pretty good movie. It's got a lot of really good stuff in it. So I don't know. I can't really explain it except for the fact that I think a lot of people like to be part of a tribe. So I think that when they hear one person say something bad about it, then they want to say something bad about it too, just so they can feel like they're part of the tribe. Or if it really is their opinion that it's bad, I'm fine with that too. So, but that's what I think about that.
I feel you.
Not everybody's going to like everything, that's for sure. But that film does kind of, going back to Mortal Kombat, that is kind of the annihilation of the Exorcist series for a lot of people.
It is.
It's the Batman and Robin of Exorcist movies for a lot of people. Now, I can find things to like about those movies, and I find things to like about Exorcist 2, but that doesn't mean that some of the criticism isn't valid.
Right.
But just to outright dismiss it, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Right.
I think I'd agree that there are good things in that film. What I remember most about that film is the video store cover, which is I was disappointed they didn't put that on that Blu-ray with the hair flowing. I actually think that's the best part of the movie. But I did watch it all the way through on Encore, and I was a little bit perplexed because maybe part of the reason people hate on it so much is because it at least to me, I remember it was kind of a different film than the first one. The first one kind of had a lot of the extra over-the-top gore in the neck and the kind of the sexual references and stuff like that. And from what I remember of 2, there's a lot of that stuff with the boom, 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 and the light and that stuff with the locusts, freaking awesome on a visual level. It's awesome, and that stuff is cool. But I think it just didn't provide the not for me, but I'm saying I think with people they didn't get that same kick that they were looking for with the gore and all of that. So maybe that's why they hate it so much. But
that's a good point.
It's a different film than the original.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think that we're all playing this up way too nice. Exorcist 2 is one of the most infamously bad films ever released. Warner Brothers took it out of circulation the week it was released to recut it because the reaction was so bad. That wasn't people just saying, we love the original, so we're going to slag this one. There was a knee-jerk, awful reaction to this film because it is nonsensical. It's compared to the writing of the first film, and later, the third film, of course, didn't exist when the second came out. It is laughable. It is a film in which, lines of dialogue like "I will spit a leopard" are supposed to be taken seriously. It has earned its reputation as one of the all-time bad movies. I've said this a million times. I keep going back to it, thinking that I must be missing something. There has to be something redeeming in it. Because a serious director, serious tech credits, great actors all around. Richard Burton was not at a good place in his career, but he had been an incredible actor. And I think if he'd been invested in the material, we might have gotten one more serviceable performance out of him. But Linda Blair is, no pun intended because she does it in the movie, but sleepwalking through the movie. That ending, depending both endings, because there's two vastly different endings, whether you're watching the theatrical or the recut, they're both bad. I don't think it holds. It's not even in the same stratosphere as the first film. The only thing good I will say coming out of it, although Monty's right, I do like the cover art. I like the original poster quite a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a badass cover.
But the only thing good that came out of it is it was such a complete disaster that Warner Brothers had no interest in making another. And so that allowed Morgan Creek to get the rights and allow William Peter Blatty to make Legion into a film. So if Exorcist 2 had actually been a better film, we would never have gotten even the novel written, because Blatty wrote Legion as a response to Exorcist 2. He was angry.
Didn't William Friedkin hate that film as well? I recall seeing the interview on YouTube.
Yeah, but to be fair, William Friedkin hates everything. So.
Yeah, anything that he didn't make. Anything that he didn't make. I heard him say that it's a silly, stupid film or something like that.
I guess for me, it's just that it's like one of those movies that's so bad that it's great, And
I keep hoping to get that, and I can never get over that bridge.
I looked up the writer, because like you said, there's a great director, there's a lot of great technical people involved, there's a great cast, and the guy who wrote it, William Goodhart, he only wrote 3 screenplays in his career. He was a playwright, and I just wonder, how did they go to him for an Exorcist sequel? What was it about him that they went, let's let this guy follow up The Exorcist with a screenplay?
Maybe the first one was just such a hit because it was a massive hit, surprise hit. And they felt that no matter what they did, they could never replicate that, and everything they would try to do would just be a lacking facsimile, right? It would just be inferior no matter what they did. So I respect them for just swinging for the fences and trying something different and going in a different direction. Even though they struck out, it was a swing and a miss. They went for it. So for that, I respect it. And it's weird enough that I can, maybe not sober, but if you're imbibing in your favorite thing, whatever that may be, none of my business. But maybe it's a nice little mind trip to waste some time. We've all had a lot of time to waste in the past year, so
it's true.
It's like you can't blame somebody for maybe wasting it on that. I don't hate it as much as other people, but compared to the first film and Exorcist 3, it's definitely lacking compared to both. But it was different. I at least try to give him credit for doing something so batshit insane. I mean, it's just like, wow, the balls on these guys. Look at what's going
on.
I did spend plenty of time out in the field last year swinging a COVID mask around my head.
Be sure to subscribe to the Region Free YouTube channel and also check out the Patreon to get exclusive content and become a Regionaire.